Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking on my predictions on the Boston Red Sox for the 2020 MLB season. So let's get right into this. Entering the 2019-2020 MLB offseason, the Red Sox had one primary focus, and that focus was to get their payroll under the $208 million tax threshold. The 2020 MLB season Red Sox projected payroll right now sits at $218 million, which is $10 million above the tax threshold. And their problem is they have some terrible, but insanely terrible contracts, which are insane. I'm going to tell them to you. David Price, in my opinion, the worst contract the Red Sox have signed in their franchise was David Price. They signed him to a 7-year, $272 million contract, something like that, and they still have to pay him $32 million each year until the end of the 2022 MLB season. That's insane. David Price isn't even worth $10 million. Why the hell are we paying him $32 million? That's crazy. Chris Sale, he would be a great contract if he wouldn't have sucked the first year he signed it. I mean, you're gonna start getting paid $32 million. If you would have played like you played every other season, that would be normal. But now you're playing. Last year you played as a pitcher who would have earned $5 million. You should bump up your game, Chris. Xander Bogaerts is the smartest move he made, because that contract, the next two contracts, Xander and JD, are the best moves. Xander Bogaerts will be making $20 million a year until 2025, which, in my opinion, it's a little underrated because he is, in my opinion, one of the top 3 shortstops in the game. Xander, my man, is the best. And JD Martinez, without JD, you can say the Red Sox wouldn't have won the 2018 World Series. If he doesn't opt out next year, he will be making $20 million until the end of the 2022 season, which is reasonable. JD is a player of that caliber, $20 million. So, good job today for those 2 contracts. The other ones, they suck, Dave Dombrowski. They suck. Next, Nathan Eovaldi. Nathan Eovaldi was a player who, for pitching 6 innings extra in the World Series, got rewarded with $47 million. You don't do that. You can't do that. He now is getting paid $17 million each year until the end of the 2022 MLB season. For the first year of his contract of those 4 years, he was injured like the entire year. He pitched like 3 games. He's terrible, a terrible start to a contract. Why you should have never signed that? You should put a club option after each year, so this doesn't happen. But this happened. He's gonna get injured like the entirety of the contract, and this contract, if it keeps going like it started this year, it will end up being the worst contract, beating David Price, because David Price at least didn't get injured. This guy made $17 million and played 3 games. Then in arbitration, they've got Mookie Betts making $30 million, which is reasonable. Mookie Betts is, in my opinion, one of the top 2 MLB players. Then comes JBJ, who's getting highly overpaid, who's gonna make around $11 million in arbitration. JBJ, he's an outstanding defender, but in my opinion, he sucks batting. He's terrible. If he comes to the plate, I'm expecting either a strikeout or a pop-out. I'm not expecting anything else. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him hit a baseball which ended up being a hit, because he's a terrible player batting. Terrible. Then comes Eduardo Rodriguez, which is going to become a star in the next 2 years. He's just incredible. He's getting better every season. He's a great player to have in your roster. And the rest, arbitration-wise, are making $5 million or under, including Andrew Benintendi, which it's crazy because Andrew Benintendi, in my opinion, should be making David Price's salary, and David Price should be making Andrew Benintendi's salary. And so now, after seeing those terrible contracts, I'm going to tell you the solution to fixing the problem which we have in this terrible contracts. That solution is to trade one of these 3 players. So the Red Sox, I'm going to tell you, they can't start the 2020 MLB season with these three guys on the roster, like all of them. They have to get rid of at least one of them. Mookie Betts, Nathan Eovaldi, and David Price. Mookie Betts, I don't think he will get traded because ownership won't let Shane Bloom trade Mookie Betts since they don't want to lose a start. They want to seem like they're competing, but they aren't gonna compete. They're gonna do something I call fake competing, which is fake competing. Like it says, like you're gonna fake your fans so they go to the stadium, but you're not actually competing. You're not actually trying to win the World Series. So Mookie Betts, he's not going to get traded in my opinion, but he isn't going to re-sign with the Red Sox. He isn't going to sign an extension. I think they should trade him. He's a player who should get traded for prospects, but I don't think they're going to trade him. Then comes Nathan Eovaldi, who the problem is no team wants him. I'm telling you, he's one of the worst contracts. No team is going to want paying Nathan Eovaldi $17 million. I mean, if you were gonna trade Nathan Eovaldi, you would have to pay like $30 million to the you would have to give the other team more than Nathan Eovaldi's salary to keep him. It would be just insane because Nathan Eovaldi, if he would have had a decent season this season, like a 3.4 ERA, you could have traded him, but no team's gonna want him. Then comes David Price. He's a reasonable. The Red Sox would have to pay part of his contract, but not so much as Nathan Eovaldi's. He's owed $93 million still, and you could trade him and pay like $15 million. David Price, I think, in my opinion, is the guy who's gonna get traded because he's the guy who out of the two starting pitchers is the best, and Mookie Betts won't get traded. So David Price is the guy. In my opinion, he's gonna get traded. Thinking, maybe the LA Dodgers. The LA Dodgers will end up with David Price. There's rumors the LA Dodgers want Mookie Betts, but Mookie Betts is off limits. They're gonna end up getting David Price. So with David Price out, I'm gonna tell you my predictions on the Red Sox starting pitchers, and their players for the 2020 MLB season. Their starting pitching rotation will be Chris Sale as their ace. Then comes Eduardo Rodriguez, Brian Johnson, Martin Perez, or Hector Velasquez, whoever earns that role. And fifth, the worst starting pitcher, Nathan Eovaldi, because he's going to be injured all year. So probably Martin Perez and Hector Velasquez won't have to fight out for a spot, since one of them will be replacing Nathan Eovaldi, who will get injured. Nathan. Their offense would be right fielder Mookie Betts, obviously. Then in center field, JBJ. Left field, Andrew Benintendi. And at first base, I was gonna say Sam Travis, but today they cut him. I'm gonna tell you, Sam Travis was the biggest disappointment the Red Sox have had in the last decade. He was supposed to be the first baseman of the future, and he just got cut off the Major League roster. He's not with the Red Sox anymore. It's insane. So I think Bobby Dalbec, who actually plays third base, will be replacing Sam Travis at first base because he's a tremendous prospect, like 84th overall in the Major League prospects. And at second base, the Red Sox are going to have Chavis, who's an incredible player. I mean, he's looking to have a great future. Shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. Third base, Rafael Devers. Catcher, Christian Vasquez. And that's what I have to say for the Red Sox. I mean, in my opinion, if you want to know my prediction, I'll say they're going to make the wild card team and then unfortunately lose against the Yankees in the division series, which is sad because I really wanted them to win, to beat the Yankees, get the hell out of them. But that's all for me today. Hope you like this video, and like and subscribe. See you next time.